My fellow Americans, this is your fellow Americans with the Help Me Make Sense of This broadcast. On this episode of the Help Me Make Sense of This broadcast, your fellow American has been giving this a lot of thought. As you know, my fellow Americans, we are facing a crisis of conscience. For lack of a better term, factions within the federal government have basically declared war on itself. We have this self-proclaimed king and his chainsaw slinging court gesture attacking the very fabric of the federal workforce. Just today, my fellow Americans, 21 federal workers in solidarity and protest resigned. To that I applaud. However, my fellow Americans, that's 21 down, 2 million to go. If the remaining 2 million federal workers were to resign en masse, like this coming Friday, for example, if that was to happen, this country will be brought to its knees in about a week. I'm talking about every government, federal, civilian worker, from GS1 all the way through SES. Resign en masse. Stay home. Don't come back. Well, and the following Monday, call in and request your TSP, the Thrift Savings Program, contributions. Whatever you got in your account, be liquidated immediately at the close of the market. Those two moves, the mass exodus of the federal workforce en masse all at the same time. Look, my fellow Americans, they're talking about firing you anyway. Beat them to the punch. And liquidating your TSP contributions and asking for the money all at once. One would effectively bring this country to a halt. Planes wouldn't fly, trucks wouldn't roll. The electrical grid would soon go into disarray. The water systems would soon go into disarray. The ability of this country to respond to a crisis of any magnitude would soon dissipate. The federal printing presses at the U.S. Treasury would be silent. There'll be no guards at any of the federal prisons. Those are all federal employees, and they'll be at home. They had all resigned. And taking all your money in the way of distributions in cash out of TSP all at once would crater the stock market. We're talking tens of billions of American dollars sucked out of the market in a moment. This would turn some of those billionaires who are bankrolling the king and his court gesture into millionaires, and some of those millionaires that are bankrolling the king and his court gesture into thousandaires. And then it would turn the thousandaires that back them into people who need government assistance. Oh, I forgot, my fellow American, they got rid of SNAP. So, my fellow Americans, it would seem to your fellow American that the ball is explicitly in your hands. Do you want to be free again? Do you want to return to the prosperity that we so richly enjoyed before the king and his court gesture began to rule? Move together, stay together, and believe in your fellow Americans.